Hello, everybody. Welcome back to Reality Realness with 3 S's. I am your host here, CelanFrancis, here with Michelle and Matthew to talk about episode 11 and 12 of the Challenge USA. And I have to say, I am shooketh. Michelle, how are you feeling right now? What are your immediate thoughts of what we just went through these last 2 hours?
I don't even know. I've been trying to put this to words because I feel so upset on so many different levels. So upset, which we'll go through as we go through the episode. I can tell you each thing that we're all collectively upset about. That said, the one thing I can say is congrats to Danny. We love Danny. Obviously, we love money for him and Kiki and his cute kid. That was probably my favorite segment of the entire episode, was seeing his kid. That was so cute. That's the only positive thing I have to say.
Oh my God.
No, I have one other positive thing to say, which is that I actually kind of liked the daily challenge, sort of. So that's one.
It was great. The daily was great.
I thought that was a really cool, awesome daily. And that's where it ends for me.
Okay, and Matthew, as usual, is here as well. Immediate thoughts. How are you feeling?
Yeah, I mean, I think I can speak for everyone listening that I'm just super excited to have Sarah qualified to be in the World Tournament. So more Sarah.
Well, okay, the one thing that I'm going to say in terms of Sarah here is, I know I'm jumping way to the end of these last 2 hours, but I really appreciated the fact that she knew she was in last place. She knew that this was just playing to show her son that if you keep going, like, it is worth it in the end. To complete it is worth it in the end, even if it's not for the big win. To cross that finish line is really important. And so I am appreciative of what she showed in that area. Yeah. The fact that she did complete it, and unbeknownst to her completing that challenge actually allowed her to win the money. And so I'm going to have to give her some applause there for that.
Also, like, that attitude of her, like, crying and continuing and getting, like, that attitude is the attitude of a challenger who wins finals and who completes finals. So I give her all the respect for that. You know, she kept going, and we can't say the same for literally anybody else. So
except for Desi. Desi got screwed.
Desi, that's the other thing we'll get into. It could have been a different story if Desi was there. We will never know. We will never know. But she does deserve that respect for that, and she really displayed qualities of someone that I want to see back, because I want to see someone who A, is going to bring drama, and B, is going to complete the final. It's so disappointing when one person doesn't, let alone
6, 7, 8, 10. Everyone, like, what? Hi, Jelly Donut. Jelly Donut says, well, that was the worst thing that I have ever watched. It wasn't the worst thing that I've ever watched. I think it was still entertaining, but the payoff, like, it's every single round, the payoff was like a letdown. Like, I thought that this was a good final. I was like, yes, this is hard, but I thought it was, all of the tasks were doable. And definitely I was shocked by how it ended up turning out, because it didn't seem harder than some of the hardest finals that we've seen in this series. So
think about all of the X's too. You know what I mean?
Oh my God.
They climbed up on Icy Mountain.
I think that there's going to be a lot of information that we're going to find out within the next, like, 2-3 days that are going to tell a different story. Like, to me, I really did not enjoy watching that. I thought it had potential.
Yes.
Maybe if it was an MTV challenge where the competitors knew what they were getting into, maybe I would have enjoyed it a lot more. But very sloppy, I thought. And a lot of it, I think, was preventable as well. I don't think we had to have those disqualifications. The quitting is another story. But
I mean, I wish that they just got time penalties, which they definitely have done on other seasons. Like if you don't finish some portion of the puzzle, it's like you didn't finish the run part. You didn't pass the puzzle, so you time out usually at a half an hour or whatever, and you can move on.
Yeah, there'll be like 5-minute penalty, and you can keep going, or take the full time and keep going. People have done that in so many finals, so it felt as though they were just changing the rules on the fly the whole time. Even with like having two guys win that final thing, like, we're just not going to do a tiebreaker. Who cares? Like, it just felt very much like they didn't plan things super well. And obviously there were some roadblocks with Ben and all of that. So like there's certain things they couldn't predict, but I just, it was really disappointing in that way. Cause I agree. It should have been like, okay, you have to make the top of the mountain. Okay. You're X-naying on the puzzle. Okay. You're going to have a 10-minute penalty. Even if Tyson knew he was going to lose at that point with a 10-minute penalty, I feel like he would still finish. And I feel like most of them would still try to finish to get their little, like whatever amount they had gained. So that I think they could have changed that for sure. And a lot of things.
Well, it's just ridiculous because we've seen even in the most recent challenge that people have timed out on a puzzle and they're like, okay, horn, timed out, you can move on. Like you spent half an hour on this puzzle. Like it happens pretty much every single final. So the fact that every single checkpoint was like, if you don't finish it, you were disqualifying yourself. I think that they were doing that just because it was CBS. Because I've never seen them do that before.
I've never seen them do that before. Never.
It's ridiculous. Hi, Prince. Yes. Hashtag Team Danny. Let's go.
Yeah, I mean,
really
the thing about with Danny, I mean, there's no complaints there. I mean, he won fair and square. Like, he didn't struggle really. I mean, he was in the lead the whole final.
Except for one round, I think he was behind.
Yeah. Yeah, I mean, he might not have won every heat, but I'm pretty sure he was in first at the end of each heat for the entire.
I think there was one that he was 1 point behind Tyson. I think
maybe
I could be wrong. I could be wrong actually. But.
Yeah, well,
at the start of that day, he was ahead of Tyson by a point. So
yeah, so he was doing very well. He completed it. Like he smoked Sarah, who was the only other person to complete it. So. Really happy for Danny. So that's kind of the silver lining here.
100%. And like, it feels great though that like he's been watching going along. We should have kind of figured it out. Like maybe he's paying attention because like he ends up doing well this season. So definitely.
I didn't think it was going to be like this though.
No.
I didn't think it was going to be like this. Like when I thought of the possibility of Sarah winning, I wasn't like thinking, oh, it's because Angela and Desi weren't even going to be in the running at all. Like even from that point forward, I was thinking this is Sarah's to lose.
Yeah.
But then even with that, with the time penalty, both other women would have probably beat Sarah, even with like a 10-minute penalty or whatever, because that's how long it took her. So like Justine could have won for the women still. You know what I mean?
We're going to get there again.
Well, the thing is, Justine, I don't even think Justine mathematically could have won as long as Sarah finished. Because Justine was down like 4 or 6 points. So even if it was 4 points and Cayla quit, as long as Sarah finished, she would have got 8 points there. So
what if Cayla didn't quit and Cayla got next?
Yeah, that would be the only way if Cayla completed it in second and then Sarah came third. But I mean, from what we saw, I don't think that was ever really going to happen, which is just a nightmare. I was seeing a lot on Twitter that people were speculating that the producers maybe wanted to kind of make a fool of the CBS players and make it seem like make them see how hard the challenge is. And because I know it's on CBS, but a lot of the producers are the same as the MTV version. It's I think Julie Booth, Justin Booth, and Julie Pizzi, whatever their names are. But they did this as well. So it's like, oh, maybe they're trying to disqualify them and make it so they can't finish. So the MTV people look better.
They'll end up winning, and if they bring in those people to represent the USA kind of thing.
Yeah, I mean, I feel like you bring in like a Fessy here, he's probably going to smoke most of the people. So
do you think Desi would have finished that final?
No.
I don't know. I don't know if he would have beat Danny. I don't know. I feel like Fessy probably can't do Sudoku either.
Are you kidding? Fessy would give
No,
up.
Fessy said he's good at math, though.
With the onion.
Oh, yeah, he would
have given up. He would have been like, there's no point. There's no point.
The onion seems very easy to me, but
very
I don't know.
Easy. I mean, disgusting, but very easy.
Yeah.
Jelly Donut says, well, we see why Gamer stated production was a mess this season. And yes, I definitely was hearing rumors of people quitting, like, but this is not the type of quitting that I was thinking. Like, I kind of forgot about that when I was watching this final. I didn't think that there would be a max exodus of quits. Like, I did not see that coming. I thought maybe like the Angela quitting, okay, that makes a little bit of sense, even though that's another thing that, okay, we're gonna get there. Okay, Prince says probably a safe bet that we'll never see Tyson on any version of the challenge again. His podcast tomorrow is going to be a doozy. Yeah, he's not going to be happy.
No, he's not happy, and he is doing exit press with Sharon tomorrow. So I know there was talk about some of the contestants not doing press. Looks like Tyson will be doing at least some exit press tomorrow, which will be exciting.
So also, if we can compile some questions maybe that we want to have answered, we can get them maybe into Nerdtainment, who does have a press schedule. So if we have some pressing questions, maybe we can come up with a couple at the end. And because like, is there MVP? Do we even have a draft? Like, who cares? Right?
I mean, the MVP is Danny. I think
the MVP is Danny, 100%. Matthew, do you just win the draft just because like you had like the
who had Sarah?
Winner? I had Sarah. I mean, I probably won point wise, but I don't know. Like, I don't even feel good about it. You know, like
yeah.
I mean, Sarah didn't even think that she won. I mean, Sarah thought she was eliminated. I've never seen anything like that. I think, in my opinion,
anything like it.
In my opinion, this was the worst final since the final where they had to bet the chips on like, oh, we're going to put 500 chips on the food eating. And they lost. Do you guys remember that one? It was way back. I can't even remember.
You'd have to remind me at least one person that's in the final.
Yeah. This was like real old school. It must have been like 2006 or 7.
I mean, I've seen them, but at the time.
Yeah, I'll get back to you on that. But it was really not enjoyable for me.
I mean, I thought the actual final was good though, right? I just don't think that I thought it like had like the elements that I was looking for anyways. It's like we have a swim portion, we have a puzzle, we have an overnight portion of like that sucks. But I think what made this bad was the fact that we lost Ben at the beginning of the final, which made it completely uneven. I didn't like the fact that one woman every round was going to have to do it by themselves. Like, I don't think that is fair. And I think that they should have at least made things more clear with Angela having to do that challenge by herself, being like, hey, Angela, you have to finish this even though you're by yourself, or else you're going to be disqualified, which I also don't think is fair when it's a 2-person task.
Because the thing is,
like, Sarah's 1-person task was just swim to the puzzle. Like, everyone had to do that anyways. So all she had to do was complete a puzzle on her own. Meanwhile, Justine had to memorize 10 numbers on her own, got disqualified. Angela had to move all that sand on her own for 6+ hours. I mean, obviously she didn't try to do it, but she was never going to be able to do a 2-person job as 1 person. So it's very uneven and I'm not saying that the production is necessarily giving an advantage to Sarah. Maybe they were, maybe they weren't, but her single task and Cayla's single task were significantly easier than Angela's and Justine's. So it was putting them in a position where they're at a huge disadvantage.
100%.
And Angela tried to work around it. And you have to imagine there's production. Production's obviously there. Could they not have told Angela, if you don't attempt to do this, you're disqualified, you're out of the competition? Why do they let it get to the point where she wakes up the next morning?
Exactly.
Same as with Ben early on.
Because drama, like, why did you bring Ben on the plane?
Yeah, Ben's on the plane. He arrives wherever they were. And then it's like, yeah, sorry, Ben, you're gone. Well, what the fuck? Why is Ben here to begin with? And then why is one woman going to be running alone why don't the first challenge, the first heat,
Everybody's
production just
alone.
says,
I don't know.
hey, the women are going to do a purge right here. Sorry, women, one of you is getting purged out. You're doing the swim to the puzzle. Last person to finish the puzzle is purged out.
Yeah.
Done.
Yeah.
Easy.
Yeah, like okay, if we're gonna get to it. We're gonna get to it. I have so many things to say. Hi, Sophie. Love that everyone quit though. Production deserved it. Yep, I think the production did deserve it. I think that probably was Tyson's doing. He was probably like, let's all quit just to make this shit, like to make a bigger statement about it, because like I think that definitely Tyson is the type of person that could gather the troops to be like, let's all do this together and make a statement. So, because he kind of was like asking everybody, like, hey, like, how are you doing over there? How are you doing over there, Justine? Like, you know, and like convincing them kind of to all quit together. Because maybe if they all quit together, then production would realize that there was a flaw in their game.
In the game, yeah, exactly.
A little strange though, like what at that point, like what is the incentive for Justine and Cayla to quit? I understand it for Tyson and Dom.
Justine like really should have figured out that Sudoku.
I wonder what would have happened if Sarah just quit at her, because she was way behind. And
I thought that Danny was going to win the whole thing.
Yeah, me too.
I wish that happened.
I thought he was just going to take the whole money, and I'd be like, that's badass.
Yeah.
Like, you definitely overtook every single person and took all of their money. That's pretty cool.
I thought they were going to fly in Cely and give her the win. But everyone else is disqualified. So Cely, you're getting a $500K. And then I really would have won that draft.
Yes, you would have. First and last boots. So Sophie says, doesn't that always happen, though? The season is great, but for some reason the final episode is bad.
It's happened multiple times.
Yeah.
You're not wrong.
I'm honestly not really a huge fan of the finals. I find it typically is like a more boring episode because there's way less strategy involved in it for the most part. But I mean, some finals are exciting, and this one is a little wacky.
Hi, Mr. Broadway Dorg. Yes, we have many words for this final, but I understand your sentiment of having no words. No words. I guess there won't be a season 2 of this after all. There will be a season 2, I think. What do you guys think?
I don't know. I was so sure all season there would be. I'd be concerned now.
Well, that's just true. Broadway Dork says if they have a season 2, there is no way they'll get big names now. Or they'll get big names and be like, hey, like I just have to outlast majority of the people and I'm going to win $250,000. So
I guess one like interesting thing to kind of think about is from the people on this cast, how many of them are going to want to do season 2? Like who from this cast that they would want back will be down to do a season 2? Most of the big names, I imagine.
Angela would go back.
Angela would go back.
Angela.
I think she'd go back.
Kyland would for sure go back.
Alyssa would go back.
Alyssa.
I think Tyson even would still go back. Even
I don't.
Kyland would.
Kyland would.
The reason why I think Tyson would is because, like, I don't think that he would want to be beat by the challenge. You know what I mean? Like, I think he'd want to come back for redemption.
We'll find out more tomorrow.
Can't wait. Hi, Danita. Yes. Hi, everyone. All I can say is what an episode. Yeah. I did not know that was what I was going to be in for episode 2 or part 2, whatever, hour 2. I had such higher hopes. Yes. Anita says, heard that production was a mess, but didn't realize how messy it got. Yeah. This was the messiest it's ever been. Hi, Arson. So Tyson should not compare himself to Bananas Western CT. He can't. They're gonna razz him.
Now.
They're gonna razz him.
Drag him through the mud now.
Yeah. Like he could talk almighty before the final, but like now that he hasn't even been able to cross the finish line of this first one yet, and all those that he was kind of saying like, oh, I could run laps against you, whatever. Like they've all won multiple times. They've all done that multiple times. And I don't think that do you think that they would find that final to be hard?
No, I don't think so.
It didn't seem like it was that hard.
I don't think there's anything.
But we're from Canada, so the coldness wouldn't have bothered me that much. I don't think.
Yeah. I don't think there was anything in that final that a CT, Bananas, or Wes would have really struggled much with.
Wes and CT could do a Sudoku like that. That's the thing. They would be fast at it. Bananas, not so sure.
I feel like Bananas would be fine, though.
He's getting better at puzzles, though. We've seen him like actually do okay at puzzles now.
Honestly, like I think like Devin Walker would have potentially won this final, or could have won this
Not to
final.
that
Not
point.
not against Danny, but like
Maybe
yeah, he
not
would've-
the end race part, but he would be positioned well going into that final heat. Cancel the challenge.
Wait, okay. Dabu, hi Dabu says cancel challenge USA. 40-year-olds on All Stars 1 finished that no problem. Mark is 50. Janae was a few months from giving birth. These babies quit.
I mean, it wasn't winter on All Stars. We
That's
have
fair.
to. It's a big factor to consider. But yes, like still agreed. Like never quit. You know.
Never quit. Hi, Taylor. I am shocked how downhill this show went within the hour. So disappointing. I know. I was like, okay, let's see it. Like, I was thinking, because both Danny and Angela got the Skype calls, I'm like, these are our winners right here. You know?
I was extremely confident in that as well. And then once the final started, I mean, Angela lost the daily, and then once the final started, I'm like, okay, yeah, definitely looking at our two winners there. Was really shocked. I mean, I've been saying for the last like 6 weeks, I think I thought Sarah had no shot because of her edit, and I mean, she pulled it off. So kudos to, again, yeah, like you mentioned, kudos to her for finishing. But I'm completely shocked. It's kind of how the season was portrayed, and then the final outcome there.
Yep. Jelly Donut says, all I can say is I'm ready for these people to speak out. Give us the tea. Yes, give us the tea. Hi, Melvin. So Melvin says, I feel like they did not explain the rules for Angela for that challenge. Agreed. We didn't know the rules. So why didn't she? Like, she obviously didn't know the rules and thought that this was something that would have been fine.
I
Because
will say, though, like, the fact that she didn't even just move really slow and try to do it slowly and then get last.
I thought she did like 1 or 2 like trips and then quit. If you didn't do any at all, I was like, fuck. If you did like 2 trips and then was like, there's no point, I'm going to be last because these people are going to be able to do 4 trips at a shot, like 2 trips at a time, like together. But my question is, so with one of those rounds when Justine was alone and she had to do the whole list by herself of numbers, they said that she like disqualified
but she was trying. And that's what TJ said. He said, you didn't even try. You didn't even like, you stopped trying to complete it. And as Asia's saying, the rules were to participate in the challenge, I think. So I think for that, like, I do blame Angela, even though they should have said, hey, are you really quitting? Because if you stop, then you're done. Like, if
which they do sometimes. Like,
exactly.
they'll be like,
no, I agree. They should have said something like that, but it's
like,
still
you have
her
TJ
bad
coming around being like, hey, are you really quitting? Like, are you really pulling the horse? Like, they all the time. Like, even when you have like Jenna and her ex-boyfriend when they didn't want to do the food challenge. Like, I think TJ came out and said, like, are you really quitting? Yes, we're really quitting. Like, I wish that they just didn't allow her to quit and not realize that she was actually quitting. Because if they came out and said to her, like, hey, if you do not attempt to complete this challenge, that would be considered a quit. And then she'd be like, oh, well, then I will work very slowly all night long, but I'm not going to quit.
Another thing I had a problem with was with the, like, obviously, Michelle, as you mentioned, like, Angela didn't really try from what we saw. So she deserves some blame there. But the thing about Justine's is like, how do we know, or who is production to say whether Justine tried to memorize the 10 numbers? Like, what if Justine memorized 3 numbers and like, you know what, I'm just going to take last place, and walked the whole way, took the 2 points? I mean, we don't know that. We don't know how hard she tried. So the fact that Angela's on her own, getting a challenge that's going to last 8 to 10 hours, it's just super unfair. It really,
and that,
like,
that
makes no
effort
sense.
can be qualified just because of the actions that would have been taken. That would have been that, you know, you're saying that Justine, you can't see how much action has actually been taken by her doing that challenge by herself.
Yeah. So, I mean, Justine got or didn't get disqualified, but she got automatically in last place, which didn't really make sense because the rules were if you didn't get the numbers right, you had to go back and do it again. But she just got there for the first time. They're like, yeah, sorry, you're in last place. You don't have to go back. You don't have to place the numbers. So it made no sense, because if Justine was wrong, would she have had to go back, or would they have kicked her off the final? It's very unclear there. And how is Justine that slow? That they just disqualified her.
But
Gave
it
her
must
the 2
have been
points.
a similar thing to All Stars 2 when they're like, okay, just finish. Like, light, we're losing light. Like, I think it was just getting too dark. I think the time was too late.
I think it goes to kind of what we were saying before. I think they were just kind of making up the rules as they went. And to me, it's kind of like very clear that that's what was going on. Very unorganized. And yeah, really inconsistent throughout the entire final.
Hi, Rachel. Rachel is agreeing with us right now. These rules were all over the place. It was unfair. Final, yes, especially for the women. 100%. It was so bad. Why did they ruin the season? It seems like Cayla, for example, couldn't physically put the pieces in place. Which part?
Sudoku.
Oh, because her hands were too cold?
They could have given them better gloves or something.
Hot Pockets, Come on. Or Hot Shots, not Hot Pockets. Danita says, Sarah from Nerdtated tweeted that a few challengers aren't doing press tomorrow. Who do you all think it is it or isn't doing press? Or who do we really want to hear from? Yes, I was asking, well, Sarah told me this, and she had watched a screener of the final. So I'm like, so is the people that aren't doing press, is it going to be obvious by what happens in the final? And she's like, yes and no. She's like, there are many people that may take issue with this final. So yes and no. And now I realize that majority of the people that she had to interview could have a problem with how things went down, except for maybe Danny. Sarah will probably do press because they don't have a serious problem. We hear that Danny's doing some press, so hopefully he's doing all press. I'm sorry, not Danny, Tyson.
The people I'd be looking at for who will be doing press are the people that have already been doing interviews throughout the season, like through Devin and Davon's podcast, through
who do we
Challenge
have come
Mania.
through? So Enzo will do press, even though I'm so terribly angry
I think
with
he
him.
gets -5 points for this episode.
Yeah, so Enzo did this week, and then Cayla was on Javon and Devin's last week.
Cayla will do press, I think.
Yeah. You know what? I feel like Angela is definitely not doing press.
I don't think Angela's doing press because I think she'd be pissed by them not letting her know that her doing that was she would have to be forfeiting her position in the game. I think that's terribly. They did that just to make her look like an idiot. You know what I mean?
I think we could see maybe Angela pop up in an interview on like Banana's podcast a few weeks from now, but I don't think she'll be doing like the full circuit.
So Rachel says, how do producers expect these people to stand in the snow for hours doing a puzzle and not allow them to time out? I don't know why there was no time out.
Should have been a timeout. Should have been a timeout.
So stupid. Justine timed out that one checkpoint. Yes, yet they aren't allowed to time out the other ones. I know. It's just weird. It's no consistency. Danny never looked tired. That is very true, Danita. Until walking up the snow, but he still he had gas in the tank, and even then he didn't look too out of breath.
Any worries I had about his endurance gone.
No, yeah, gone.
Playage.
Totally gone. All right, Serena says Devin Simone has said that apparently on the sign for the checkpoint Angela lost, it did explain the rule that she would be eliminated. No clue how true that is, especially now that she works with MTV. I can't trust anybody that works for the show. You know what I mean? That's when I stopped listening. Well, not stopped. I never really started listening to Tori and Anissa's podcast. It's they're too entrenched in the challenge to have a real opinion. I can't listen to producer pleasing bullshit,
I do enjoy Devin's back and forth with Davon, though. They are
fair. I'm sure they're entertaining, but I don't know if they're going to give us the real hot tea. Or their real takes anyways, because they're being paid by the people. Why would they? So Mr. Broderick Dork says production straight up lied more than once, though. They said that there wouldn't be a hall brawl or a pole wrestle, for instance, among other things. It's really unacceptable. Absolutely. People were furious for the fact that they had these eliminations that they were promised in their contracts before the season started, that they weren't going to be having to put themselves through that. So definitely that's something that I think would be problematic for getting new people to come on the next season. Yeah, well, I don't know, Sophie. We don't know why they did this. Tyson should not compare himself to Bananas, West, or CT. Those guys would have finished it 100%. It's just a fact. Tyson. Oh, Tyson. That was brutal, but I loved most of it. I wasn't expecting them to disqualify Angela, though. Danny showed that it was possible. The one person I feel sorry for is Desi. Yes. All of the
I feel the worst for her
Mm-hmm.
because she didn't even get to do one fucking thing. She didn't get to do one thing. She didn't get a chance. And whoever was with him was going to be screwed. So it's just really unfortunate for her. She got the worst end of the deal. For
Also,
sure.
it seems like, I mean, the algorithm I'm very suspect of to begin with. But this one wasn't even like an algorithm. It looked like the names were like predetermined and it was just revealing who's with who. So it's like, oh, Desi, you're with Enzo right off the bat and you're swimming in this freezing cold water. I was like, I was pretty sure when I saw what the challenge was that Enzo was going to quit. And
he did.
I think Desi kind of knew too. Like she looked very upset even before it started. So yeah, I mean, I can imagine
like
Desi's upset.
he would be the slowest, but somehow get through just to the puzzle, and she would get like drag him along. But because she's not a great swimmer herself, like she can't drag you along. Like
I think Prince is talking about the season that you're mentioning to betting the chips.
Yeah. I'm doing a quick search now.
Quick search, Ed. Oh, Eunice loved the final. I mean, I didn't mind the actual final. I don't like all the quits. I didn't like the episode. Yes, we agree. Retro Tyson quitting after calling out the MTV challengers is wild. No world. I think he's doing that as like he has to.
He's doing it because he's a troll. Like he's feeding into it. Because he knows the more he says, the more hate he gets, the more drama, the more people are talking about him. So at the end of the day, like he knows what he's
getting what he wants. And like now he's gonna have to go back on these shows and be like, I suck. And then that's why I think that I can see him wanting to go back for a redemption arc. You know what I mean? To be like, okay, I'm not quitting this time. I'm gonna come in even more prepared than the last time. I mean, like Sarah, but at least she did not quit. Yeah, we totally gave Sarah props. Like I didn't enjoy her this season, but I very much appreciated what she stood for at the end. This final format was the same as All Stars 1.
Yeah, with the points.
With the points, yes, but like you got to choose your partner if you got finished quickly, which I liked that better. Tyson says it was a forced quit and they weren't told the rules of Sudoku. Oh.
They weren't told the rules of Sudoku.
I mean, doesn't everybody know how to do Sudokus?
I'd assume so.
Okay, so they like this final and they just don't have what it takes. Okay. But I think liking the final, it's enjoying the whole thing. Like I was so upset for most of it is why I didn't enjoy the final. But as I mentioned, the elements were fine. They're good. Tyler says, I actually really enjoyed the final. Everyone quit. That sucks, but only Desi got screwed. Yeah, agreed.
She is the one who only technically got screwed. Correct. Like, yeah.
Angela did say her dirt pile was half the size.
Or she just said it was smaller. I don't know if it was half the size, but to be fair, it should have been half the size. If it was half the size, she should not have quit.
Yeah.
And that was I think it was a bad move regardless. Just move slow. Try to be smart with your back.
And just don't, be very, if you are expecting to be last, just get it done, but get it done
efficiently and
and just like gently. No chance they quit. I mean, they're still going to let them come back. I think. They gave her less sand. Yeah. Hi, Asia. So they gave Angela less sand than everyone else. Okay. Well, yeah, she shouldn't have quit. And that's probably why she's not going to do any exit press because she feels dumb. Angela's pile was half the size. Half. Okay, half. Justine had the worst challenge to do by herself. I was so mad for her. Yeah,
she had no chance to win.
It's garbage. It was so garbage how they started this final. They should have figured something out before they got to the starting line. Okay, let's get into this episode a little bit. So we see that Justine starts off in the confessional, and I was like, okay. Justine's starting off this episode. Like, is she going to have an important part here? Is she going to win this daily so that, like, she's going to be able to throw in Alyssa? Like, I was trying to figure out because I had a strong feeling that I'd seen Alyssa for sure in a pole wrestle. And it was speculated that it was Angela was the other person when it was freeze framed. But I was kind of still saying, like, not sure who she was going against, but not someone that had darker skin. But I had a feeling it was going to be Angela from what people had already speculated. So I was thinking, like, okay, well, the only way that they're going to get like an Angela versus Alyssa in a pole wrestle is if one of the Fab 3, I guess, wins. And so I was thinking, like, maybe Justine's going to get another win here. Okay.
Yeah.
I'm here for that for her. And so we did learn a little bit more about the rules of the money. So if they finish the final, they're going to get to keep all the money that they have accumulated up until then. And then the winners will be splitting everything else that's left over. So it wouldn't necessarily have been that as much money as I was expecting. I thought it was going to be $250,000, and then everybody else get to keep their change, not like that money came out of the $500,000. So we see Enzo.
Ben didn't get any money when he got medically disqualified.
Nobody had got any money except for Sarah and Danny. Literally. I didn't look at the number at the end, but I feel like it was more than $250.
Sarah's was more than Danny's because she already had
more money. Gotcha. Right.
So they evened it out.
The rest of it.
So he was around 245. She was around 256.
Oh, that's so annoying that she got more money than him.
Yeah. I know.
What can we do? So Enzo and Cayla are obviously annoyed that Angela has never been down into the arena. And I was like, oh boy, Angela's going to be going in. Like, thought I was going to be furious at the fact that she was going to be going down there. I thought that was the only time I was going to be mad watching this final. Sadly, I was mistaken. So Angela isn't afraid of anyone going down into the arena. And I love her attitude in this sense. She's a badass and she's willing to, kind of how Sarah said, like, I can take anyone. Angela has that same attitude as well. So I appreciate that. We get our first Kiki confessional. Danny says, I'm playing for Kiki and Zoe, his daughter. And then we get a Zoom call, a Skype call with Danny and his daughter, or with Kiki and his daughter. And I'm like, I wrote down winner, or question mark. So I was definitely, clocking what Kiki said, being like, you better win. And I was like, you don't leave you better win in there if you don't win. So I was definitely thinking Danny was going to be doing well this episode.
Yeah. It was nice to put a face to the name as well.
Yes. I've actually, I know what Kiki looked like. I've definitely looked her up before, or looked them up before, but nice to see her on the show live.
Hopefully much more of her to come.
I think so. I think that he is locked in his position as a staple for any version of the challenge that he would be interested in participating in. And if Kiki wants to be part of it, I'm sure they'd more than welcome her. So it's going to be a night challenge. And so at nighttime, they're going to be on a truck and everybody's kind of playing with the cameras like it's Blair Witch Project. Tyson with his troll confessionals being like, oh, I love hear people panicking and screaming. It soothes me.
That was great. That was a great line.
Such a troll. So this is called getting tired while getting tires. So basically they're going to be running into some, old factory or storage place, whatever, and getting tires that have point values. And some have a higher, like 20 points to, I think it was to 3 points, different denominations. And you have to kind of solve a little puzzle to get these tires. So I thought this was a good daily.
Yeah,
you were saying you liked it? Yeah. Mm-hmm.
I thought it was interesting. It had multiple components. There's some strategy involved, some endurance choices to be made. I thought it was cool. And I like night challenges.
Mm-hmm. So I like night challenges as well. They had 2 hours to run. Basically, they had to run about 1 kilometer to go and get more tires and to come back to their post where they would be stacking the tires that they get. Whoever accumulates the most amount of points by the end of the 2 hours, that will be the winner. Least amount of points, loser. So I was like, and it started off with a swim with this one, or am I just making that up?
Yeah, I think they only have to swim at the start, right? They didn't have to
500
swim
meters. Yeah,
little mini
just the beginning.
sprint swim. So I thought, like, this is Tyson and Angela going to win this one, no problem. Like, endurance queen and king, like, swim king. I just thought they were both going to win. And so they both, as we expected, get to where you find the tires first. And they both go to the 20-point tire. And it's a slide puzzle. Angela can't do slide puzzles. What the F?
Hey, neither can I.
I mean,
I can't do a simple slide puzzle.
Really? I'll teach you.
I would honestly probably just mess around with it.
No. There's a system, and it can be very easy, in my opinion. It's
I just don't know the system, but I would probably practice something like that.
You know what I think Angela should have done there? I think Angela knew, like, you know what, I'm not going to get this. Once Tyson got his, I think Angela should have said to Tyson, like, yo, Tyson, come back, and once you get back here, I'll leave, and you could just take my puzzle as well. That way, Tyson automatically wins. Or gives her who she wants. Or
that
Angela,
so smart.
Yeah, because Angela spent way too long on it, and like if she
didn't want to give that up to somebody else.
Yeah, if she did it, then she could have just gone for the 10s or the 5s. Let Tyson get 40.
And then she knows he's automatically going to have 40 points, which puts him like so far ahead that way she knows she's more likely to be safe. And then she can go run and try to get some of the other ones, as you said, and not get last place. Yeah. I totally agree with you. I think there's a little bit of ego and a little bit of like stress and just thinking, okay, I got to get this one. And Tyson just kept saying, go for it. She's just listening. I don't think she had that.
I'm wondering though, if like there were male, female for each number or denomination. So because it looked as though his 20-piece slide was exactly the same as hers. So I wonder if there were kind of gendered stations, basically. That's the only thing that I'm thinking of why they wouldn't have figured that out. Like, be like, hey, let me have this one. You go continue running. I'll finish this one. Like, I don't know why they wouldn't have thought of that.
Why would Tyson not have thought of it?
If that were a possibility. So it must have been gendered, like one for each gender.
You know what? But though, like looking like ahead to the rest of the episode, I don't know if production would have thought that far ahead to make it gendered. They would have just done whatever.
But they would do two puzzles, the exact same puzzles beside each other at the 20 point position.
I mean, the thing is, like, because everyone's racing to the same area, the odds of like one person,
two different people.
That's true. I mean, the odds of one person getting two is like basically zero unless they gamed it out. And then even if Angela were to come in last, at least then Tyson is first on his own. Like Dom would not have tied with him. Mm-hmm. And then Tyson just throws in Cayla. Angela,
but I think Cayla. The worry that Tyson probably had is he probably thought she was going to get it any time, so he kept worrying until it was too late. And I think the worry is that she needs to not get last. So I don't know. But you're right. That is I didn't even think of that, but that would have been an amazing strategy if they had been able to do that.
Yeah. I'm sure it's hard to think of something like that on the spot too. So maybe sitting at home, it's a bit easier.
Maybe that could be a good question to ask. If Angela's doing press is like, or Tyson being like, hey, if like couldn't you have taken it over? So maybe I'll put that in. What's the question? Is that the bottom?
No, the thing about Dom shitting himself.
Oh, I don't see where it is yet. Is it the last one?
No, fourth from the bottom.
1, 2, 3, 4. Wait, is this one?
No, it's Thai sky blue.
Oh,
I just forgot, like when they opened the tent and it's like it literally probably smelled like actual poo.
Ew! Oh my God! Stop! Oh, there it is. Sorry, it wasn't from the scroll. You can tell that there are too many things to be irritated about with this final, when literally everybody is zooming past the fact that Dom shot himself. He didn't actually shit himself, did he? I thought he said piss, but like he said shit.
I mean, I don't know if he was just saying a thing, but like the fact that when they opened it,
I thought it was just like farting from the onions and garlic.
Yeah, onions and garlic.
Oh my God!
Garlic makes you, it flows things through.
Yeah. Oh my God. Maybe he's not doing press. Because that's probably people's number one question is like, so did you actually? Yeah. So Melvin said they feel like Angela did the right thing by not name dropping in front of Sarah, because we all know what Sarah would do. Oh yeah, let's get to that part. So I thought this was a great daily. I wish that Angela could just do the slide puzzle. Like slide puzzles, it's really just systematic. You just go piece by piece by piece by piece, like all the way through, and that's kind of how you finish them. And you just go over, you just go around like this, basically. Is how you do a slide puzzle. And so the fact that she hasn't practiced those, I'm just like, what? Like, no. So she ends up finishing her puzzle finally, but she doesn't have enough time to be able to overtake anyone. 20 points, yeah, she ended up getting it, but she needed to have made at least 2 more trips with the high numbers to be a contender. But because by that time all the 10s and 5s were even gone, that she wasn't able to get enough points to make a significant difference. So we do see Cayla struggling a little bit at the beginning when they're climbing, and apparently Sarah headbutts her to help her up like a, I don't know, like some sort of yard or farm animal helping its young up like a mountain. And Cayla and Justine, we're gonna ride or die with Sarah. Oh, anyways, I don't know what's there. But so basically at the end of this, Tyson and Dom have the same amount of points. So they both have 52 points, which is impressive. How did Dom get that many points as Tyson and didn't get 20?
He must have been really quick with the lower.
Or Tyson was a long time at the first one.
And also, no, I think what happened is, that as well. But then also, Dom got all the next high ones. He got like more than 110, more than 15 or whatever. Like it was just Tyson took way more trips than him, but it didn't matter because he just had better point accumulation.
Mm-hmm. I wrote down though at one point, I was like, oh my God, is Dom going to beat Tyson? Because like he was doing so well getting all those points while Tyson was still at that that slide puzzle. I was like, oh my goodness.
Can we also take a moment for Enzo? Let me just take this blue one here. You're not even trying. In what world do you think that anyone wants to see you in a final? Like, I will say his confessionals in this episode before what happened were entertaining in the same way. I know they're not the same, but his confessionals entertain me in the same way that Nelson's do. In that little bit dumb, like kind of ridiculous, and just like these kind of sayings that he just does, and it just makes me laugh in a stupid way. And it's kind of like the way Nelson makes me laugh, even though I know they're like not really the same, but they give me the same energy for some reason. I don't know.
I could see that, just like there for comic relief, really. But
yeah, I mean, they're both elimination kings, right? So they are pretty similar.
And just like, can we have a little short aside here? What do we think about Corey shaving off the beard? Okay. Silence.
I watched his boxing night the other night. I don't know if either of you watched that. He did a box against Chase from Too Hot to Handle.
Mm-hmm.
Not very exciting, but yeah, I mean, good for Corey.
But you haven't seen him with his shaved face?
I did. It looks like he's like back in like 2011. His first season.
Corey.
Young buck Corey.
Oh.
He shaved off his beard, and like he's actually, in my opinion, not even cute anymore.
I literally forgot what his name was.
Well, you were talking about Nelson, so I brought up Corey. Let me see if I can find a picture.
Wow.
Are you looking it up, Michelle?
No, I just can't believe I forgot who Corey was.
Yeah, he does look very strange without the facial hair.
Like, I can't believe that he was better looking before. I didn't think that it would do that much of a difference, but it did apparently. Oh wait, hold on. This here. Oh my gosh. Because I guess we just need to take a little mini breather from this final chat because it's terrible. This episode. Boo. Okay. You ready? There you go. Thoughts, Mishy?
Okay.
Not cute, right?
No, he just kind of reminds me of Fessy now.
Oh, maybe that's what he's going for. He wants to get all the girls again, I guess. I don't know.
Energy. Wait, is he single again?
No, I'm just joking.
Oh.
I think he just had another baby, or she's pregnant. So just wanted to share that with you.
Thank you. I didn't mean to do that, but
you're welcome. You're welcome. Okay, so then we find out that Sarah, for the women, has the most amount of points. She has 42. And that means that the winners are going to be Tyson and Dom. And then it's going to be Sarah for the women. And so Angela is the loser of this task with 24 points. I would have liked to see, and maybe they did show it and I just didn't see it, all the point getters. I wanted to see where everybody stacked up, no pun intended, because it is important, I would say, to see whether or not Alyssa did better or worse than Cayla. Like I couldn't tell. So I would have liked to see that. So Angela is okay with this. Like, she knows that she's in the bottom, but she thinks that because Tyson is in the power situation, that he would help her get who she wants. And who Angela wants at this point is Cayla in the elimination, because she does not want to go against Alyssa, of course. So Sarah, though, needs Dom or Tyson to side with her to get what she wants. Well, Tyson's not going to side with you for sure, but Dom, there's a possibility. And so I was like, rolling my eyes. I'm like, oh, Dom is going to mess this up. Like, I would have, I love Cayla, I do, but I would have rather Cayla, go against Angela at this point.
I now understand why in the first few episodes they showed Dom like being bitter towards Tyson, kind of secretly being like, oh, he keeps fucking winning. I was like, why are they bothering to show us this? It's leading to nothing.
No,
this is what it was leading to, in my opinion, of him like finally feeling like he did something else.
Got one up on him.
And I immediately was like, oh, he's not going to do what Tyson wants.
No, I mean, no.
Yeah.
Yeah, and I don't think it really mattered too much either. I think the sole reason he put in Alyssa was just to kind of get one up on Tyson. I mean, I don't think Dom or Tyson deep down would have a preference between Cayla or Alyssa. They're regardless, they're going to be likely the weakest female that they'd be running with. So I don't think it made a huge difference. So yeah, I think he just wanted to show that Tyson was not calling all the shots.
Yeah, he doesn't get his way all the time. Hi, Taj. So Taj says production had the women effed up. There's no reason for there to be 2 male winners for a women's elimination. Absolutely.
Yeah. They every
Give
year
them a
on the
tiebreaker.
challenge, exactly. Every year it's like, oh yeah, you know what? You both had 8 points, so this person did it in the quickest amount of time. So Tyson, you win. Dom, you win. Just do anything. It's they obviously wanted there to be more drama, have Dom in the middle. So made for, I guess, better TV. Otherwise, Tyson was just going to get his way because Sarah's not going into an elimination. Although if she did, that would have been epic.
I would have kind of liked it if that's what ended up happening. We got that standstill with Sarah and Tyson not being able to do what come to an agreement, and maybe Sarah has to go down and defend it. And maybe we'd have then got the Sarah versus Angela that we've been praying for. So
who do you think would have won that, Sarah versus Angela in a pole wrestle? I think it would be real close.
I think it would be close. I honestly, Angela's taller, but it could go either way.
I think Sarah would win. I mean, she's got
Sarah's
that top strength.
And it's I just feel like she'd be so like bulldoggy, aggressive.
Because honestly,
small.
Angela's technique was good against Alyssa because Alyssa wasn't able to get a really good grasp. She kind of pulled it a little bit. What I felt against someone stronger could have been a little aimless, a little bit risky the way Angela, strategy
she might have changed her strategy if she
probably would have changed her strategy. You're right. She did specifically say, I just wanted to get this done so that it's like less painful for both of us.
So Angela talking to Tyson, just saying that she doesn't want to say anything to Sarah, which I actually also really liked. I know for some of these, I was kind of mad at Cinco for not kind of saying what he wanted or who he wanted. But in this situation, like Angela is going to get whoever Sarah wants. And so she just didn't want to give Sarah the satisfaction of not giving Angela who she wanted. So I thought that was kind of funny. But we do know that she wants Cayla. So in the deliberation, she doesn't really say anything. And at one point, she just basically gets up and walks out. Like, and Tyson appreciated that. I appreciated that because I was just like, whatever. Did you guys think it was a sore loser move, or how did you feel about Angela just walking out?
I liked it. I thought it was cool. It's like what's she gonna do at that point? Like, you're either putting in Alyssa or you're putting in Cayla. Like,
Yeah, it has
at the end of the
nothing
day, she's coming back in. Like, Angela's winning the elimination, so you're either putting me in against my friend or who I want. I'm not gonna beg Sarah for her to do me a favor. So I liked it. I thought it was cool.
And so then we get a confessional, and this was probably why she put in the confessional in here, was like, what, you're not even going to try? You're not even going to try to get like who you want? And that doesn't age well because like she doesn't end up trying in the final. And I was like, I
know when she said that, I was like, eye roll. And then I was like, like pie in the face. Like, I have to admit, like, how many times did I say there's no way? Anyways, whatever. Flip flop central. Here we go.
So Tyson says Alyssa's a hard no. Cayla is a hard no for Sarah. So Dom is going to be the tiebreaker. There's another eye roll because we know that he's not going to give Tyson who he wants, or his way.
And to be fair, like, Cayla isn't someone that you necessarily don't want in the final. Like, I just feel like if it was someone like if Cash was still there and it was a more obvious thing. Done this
final.
But you know what I mean? Like, if it was more obvious, but like Cayla won a daily with Dom. So like, why would he see her as weak? He obviously has a better relationship with her than Alyssa. So like that 100%. As well was working against what Tyson wanted.
But I appreciated that after the deliberation, we see Alyssa putting in some work and talking to Dom and saying like, hey, like, I've done pretty well at all of these challenges. Like, I have been helpful to some of these people. And I don't know if I'm just saying this because like she didn't get a chance to compete. I don't think that Alyssa would have quit. I don't think she would have quit that final.
I think she would have finished. If she could have. Like,
you think she would have finished or you wouldn't have finished?
I think she would have finished unless something outside of her control. Like if she was with Enzo, or which she wouldn't have been, I guess, but we don't, whatever. Or like, I don't know. I feel like
I think she would have completed the Sudoku. Yeah. I think she would have crossed the finish line.
If she made it to that point,
which is not gonna like really wild to me that that she didn't even get the chance. It's so frustrating.
But I would have said that about so many other people who didn't. So
that's true.
I don't know.
I think it's just because it was part of this episode that like I would have I maybe have preferred to see whether or not she would have quit or not in the alternate universe here. So we see it's Angela's birthday, and I did get a little bit teared up with seeing her so like loving Tyler so much, and like how much he seems to love her as well, and her showing some emotions here because everybody thinks that she's such an ice queen. So I did like this little moment, and I was like, oh, this is a part of her winner's edit right here.
That's what I thought.
Birthday.
That's what I thought.
So Sarah's going to put her foot down, though, and Tyson, he's made this experience so miserable for so many. And I'm like, what? Because he's winning? Get out of here.
I feel like most people in the house probably loved Tyson, like having like the comedic relief there. Between like probably him and Enzo or the two
funny people,
comedic people there. Like you need some of that in this like dark and depressing house.
Yes. So we get to the elimination. So Tyson obviously says Cayla, Sarah says Alyssa, Dom says Alyssa, shocker. And we're going to be getting a challenge classic, staple, famous pole wrestle. And I was like, I think these all need to be retired. I don't like them anymore at all. I don't know if I ever did, but I'm over it. I don't need to ever see a hall brawl. I don't ever need to see a pole wrestle. I don't even care about balls in. Like
there are so many better eliminations.
Yeah. So many. I like so many so much better. Like seeing when they have to like climb, like use like the pegs to climb up the whatever. There's so many good ones. that like you get like on the edge of your seat and you're like, oh my God, like who's going to be able to use their will to get to the top? Like, I don't need to see any of these one-on-one combat situations anymore. So we are going to see Angela versus her best friend Alyssa here. And, you know, I really, really didn't think that Angela was going to lose this at all. And so she gets the first round pretty easily. I thought it was pretty badass. I don't know if you noticed, but how she tosses the pole over to TJ. She like rips it off and then just like tosses it over to TJ and he just like grabs it. I was like, she was just in the zone, and I thought it was pretty badass. Yeah. So after she wins that first round, then we start seeing all these confessionals from like Cayla and some other people being like, you know, talking about getting Angela out and like how they can't run against Angela in the final. I'm like, what is Alyssa going to sneak out a win here? Like, what's happening? Like, why are we seeing this after she just won round one? I guess it was just to distract us from like what was really happening. And so second round, Angela gets a confessional saying that she just wants this to end really quickly. Like she doesn't want to be doing this against her best friend in the house. And she basically rips it out of her hand real quick. Even Sarah had a confessional saying that it was the fastest elimination ever. And yeah, she just pulls Alyssa up at the end and hugs her and is crying. And Danny's even surprised by Angela, the Ice Queen, showing some emotion. But she beasted it. I mean, but it also wasn't really a fair fight because Alyssa's tiny compared to her. But
yeah, it was. I mean, it was nice to see like a different side of Angela tonight. I mean, I've liked her all season, but yeah, I mean, to go back to like the conversation with Tyler and then after the elimination with Alyssa, I mean, it was nice to see her show some emotion and that maybe she's not just as one-dimensional as some people may think she is. So I think if she does decide to come back, it would be nice to explore a little bit more of this as well.
Yeah.
And so Asia thinks that Alyssa would have finished the final and Angela would have too.
Angela definitely would have.
Yeah. Because she would have, and Alyssa would have been like, no, you got to finish. Like, Angela, don't sit down. Like, I'm wondering why Tyson didn't say anything. Maybe because he doesn't fully know the challenge rules. Like, I don't know. And all the other women probably would want her to go, like, to bow out. Like, I don't know why other people didn't say something when she was.
It kind of showed him, like, shaking his head, but I don't know.
So weird. Angela feels sad about taking away Alyssa's chance, but Alyssa is still happy with her game, happy with the new friend that she made. And so TG does say, though, to her, this is the end of your time for now. I'm sure I'll see you here again in the future. So
she got the green light.
Got the green light. She will be back 100%. She might come back. Maybe she's the only person that comes back from the season.
I think she'll go to MTV.
Yeah,
I'll take her there for sure. Even though I wish she wasn't Big Brother, because I don't want her to make the Big Brother team even stronger. But I'm happy to see her there.
She would pave her own path, I think.
Hope so. So TJ says to Angela, "It's all your fault," and she's like, I'm gonna cry?" And he's like, "That's what I'm trying to do." And so you can see TJ at this point loves Angela.
Yeah.
And so she has $33,500 in her bank account. Running the final. So if she just crosses the final, 33 grand, 34 grand almost, like pretty good.
Which also makes me mad too that production didn't say anything. Like they didn't say, hey, if you go to sleep right now and don't try this, like you're losing that 33K. So I'm sure if they told her that,
you would have done it for sure.
Even if she was going to come in last and not win the final, it's like, yeah, I'll stay up for 6 hours for 35K. Why not?
She would, like, that's the thing, is that she wouldn't have made that decision if she knew all the rules.
That much was clear by her confessional.
Yeah.
If she knew, and it's her fault for not, you know what I mean? It's still, as we said, blame to her for a bit for that. But if she knew, there's no way she would have made that choice, which is different than the rest of them quitting at the end. They're making that choice. Although, as we're saying, there's more details to come. And like, if your fingers are literally frozen, there's nothing you can even do. Like, so there are, you know, whatever. I'm sure we'll hear more things. But with that, I really don't think she would have quit if she had been, you know, told that.
Agreed. So there's a bit of a celebration with everybody. They're all going to the final. Whoop, whoop, whoop. But we didn't mention this before, but during the daily, Ben is running out with a tire. He trips on something in the dark and he falls and lands on his shoulder.
Oof.
And so we hear him talking to Sarah. They're kind of hugging. They're so excited to be running the final together, but he's going to go get his shoulder checked out. So he does that. And then the next thing you know, that they're up and up since 2 a.m. We're getting a Desi confessional. We're hearing that Desi has been a fan of the challenge since she was a young girl. And I was like, yes, like, I didn't know that you were a challenge fan. Like, now I even more want you to run this. Like, let's go, Desi. I want to see this battle between you and Angela. Let's go. And so Ben says, like, you know, his shoulder feels fine, but there's a huge bump. They get to the starting line and TJ's like, welcome to the final. Ben, gotta say something. Talk to medical and you're out of here. Like, what?
What was the literal point of that?
They did that to Veronica too. They did that to Veronica as well, right? Like, why did she get there, like, thinking that she's gonna be able to run and then be like, sorry, you can't, you gotta go.
Was Veronica's at the final, or I think it was at a daily
before the final.
Whatever, but like get
but
to.
Went to the daily, yeah. Honestly, they flew him in a private jet. Like, why not just do his confessionals and then not talk about it and then be like, yeah, I wonder if Ben's gonna get another plane later. Like, I don't see him around. And then they're like, you've noticed Ben isn't here. Well,
fine.
Blah, blah, blah. And then we could pan to his confessional. Like, that would have been fine. Why did you need to do that? Like, I was like, what is going on?
For the drama of it all. So the teams they're going to be running in teams like we speculated all season. There's going to be a series of checkpoints, typical. There's never going to be the same teammate twice. And now, because Ben is not there, each round a woman will be doing by themselves. And already I'm like, that sucks. Like you're made a challenge for two. It's going to be for one. Like, so the women, no matter what, are going to be at a detriment into how they can run this final. Like, I just was like, that's a bad decision. I agree with you, Matthew. There should have been some sort of purge elimination for the women. Like, that wouldn't be that fair, of course, but like, I would have rather that happen and somebody just like don't even run, and then it just gets to be run normal, because I would be so mad. Anyway, so the algorithm is back-ish for choosing these partnerships. So what did I write? Oh, so Sarah, though, is also really upset because she doesn't want her fate tied to another person. And I'm still on like my Sarah, like, annoying train. I'm like, oh, so like, who's going to hold Sarah back? And she's going to complain about, like, that's what I'm thinking in my head. So the first matchups are Danny and Cayla, Dom and Angela, Tyson and Justine, Enzo and Desi, and Sarah is going to be alone for this first run. And so they have to swim to shore and solve a puzzle. And it's another slide puzzle. Yikes. Yeah. For some of these people, they apparently can't do them. So what ends up happening is Enzo. The water's too cold for him. He's panicking. Desi's like, just, it's okay. I'll help you. No, leave me alone. I couldn't even believe how much he was freaking out. You're wearing a life jacket. You will be fine. And then just seeing that I don't care. I'm out of here. I'm gone. I'm out. And like, just gets out, and just like that, Desi is taken out of the game, because TJ did say that if your partner quits, you quit too. And I'm like, brutal start to this final.
Brutal. Here I'm being like, strike two. First, the Ben thing, which obviously I didn't care that much about because I didn't really want him to win. But still, I was like, this is annoying. Then she gets stuck with Enzo first. And I think, okay, well, maybe he'll just gas out in round 2 or 3. And I was getting worried for like Angela and Justine being like, oh, man, when they have Enzo, what if he's gassed out?
Mm-hmm.
All you had to do, she could have dragged you, could have just like breathed and like screamed your way through the cold. And then you just sit there as she does the puzzle, and you couldn't even do that for her. Like, I just can't help but feel he would have done it if it was like, think about it. Like, say it was like your family member that was like, come on, we got to do this. You would have that umph to do it, right? And like he doesn't have that umph without, you know what I mean? Like
He never has it though. We
Never
know
has.
that. He always just wants to coast.
Yeah.
And he doesn't have that grit. Like he does, like we talked a little bit about in these eliminations, that he seems to be able to do them, but they've all been kind of similar. Like it was a hall brawl that he won, the tire moving one that he won, and what was the last one? It was also another kind of
balls in,
where it's kind of similar. You know what I mean? But he never did one where it really, really tested his mental resiliency to be able to complete something. He's never, and that's kind of what all these dailies were that, and he never did well in any of them. So the fact that he was there over David would not have quit that thing. And if he was with Desi, he won a challenge with Desi. So he probably would have at least got to the shore.
He would have let her drag him, and he would have been like, keep going, keep going. I will say, and this is crazy, I think that David, I would have rather him there, because I don't think he would have been able to necessarily finish if everyone else was already quitting around him, but he would have made it much further and given Desi a fighting chance. And I don't think he would have given up at all on day one at all. Like, I think he would have gotten through day one, not screwed any of his partners over, and like, you know? So that's very disappointing.
Azah says, why come if you're afraid of water like that? At least float.
Yeah,
I don't know.
literally.
Like, you're wearing a life jacket. Like, I just don't know how much safer you could feel than when you're with a life jacket on. Like, I know it's cold, and I have I been in cold water like that?
I'm sure I would have been like dying, but
like swimming will make you feel better. Just swim.
Keep moving.
You gotta keep moving. You can't just sit flailing.
Yeah, I think I feel really bad for Desi. I hope that this does not sour Desi from coming back. I'd love to see her get another shot on MTV, or if they do this again. I mean, she'll be a contender on either side. So yeah, really hoping that her experience was still strong enough that she's willing to give this another go.
Exactly, Azah. It's like he has never seen an episode of the challenge. Like you're gonna have to do that. It's all so frustrating that like he was so mad at everybody for putting him in the things and not wanting to run with them, and people thinking that he's gonna be a loose. I have like so many like sayings in my head. I don't know what I'm trying to say, but like he was gonna be the weakest link in a partnership. Like, yeah. He was fighting against that, and he literally was the weakest link in that challenge, and he actually took somebody out of their contention of winning the money. Like, F you. I'd say F you. I think it would have been better if, like, at that point, since it's going to be women running alone, since Desi didn't quit, I would have rather it had to be a girl team running against each other.
For sure.
Like at each round, like you're going to have to run against another woman. You know what I mean? Like that would have been something at least seemingly more fair.
Yeah,
definitely. Yeah.
Give Desi the chance to still compete. And each round, each of the women are going to have to go against one woman. That's fine. That should have been fine.
Yeah.
But I guess they didn't think of that at the time, because I did only just think of it right now. So the water is obviously super cool. Enzo panicked. I'm done. I quit. There's no way that I'm going to make this swim. I was so pissed off. So 5 points does go to Danny and Cayla, who finished this puzzle first. I was like, okay, Danny. Excuse me. Kiki says that there is no second place, and Kiki is right, and definitely was right for this entire final. So good on them for sure. Sarah alone gets second. Justine and Tyson gets third. And I was like, oh boy, is Tyson really going to be chasing Danny in this final? I'm like, oh my goodness. Like, wow. Angela and Dom get 4th place here. So the next matchups are Danny and Angela. I was like, yes, nice and strong team here. Dom and Justine, Tyson and Sarah. I was like, ooh, another very, very competitive team. Cayla's going to be alone, and there's going to be 2 very different stages. So the first stage, as we kind of talked about a little bit already, is an eating challenge. And I was worried that Angela was going to quit because of an eating challenge, was going to be meat of some sort, and she is a vegan. And that's what I was worried about, because I did hear there was some sort of quits. And so I was like, maybe that was what was going to happen. But no, they were very considerate in the sense that they had a giant onion for them to eat, some raw garlic, and some lemon juice to wash it down with. And I thought it was hilarious, though, that Angela like cut it off into little pieces to allow like the lemon juice to kind of cook the onion to make it taste a little bit better. And I think it was Dawn that was saying like, "Oh, little Angela looks like she's sitting down for like a gourmet meal." But she ate it up.
I thought it was a smart strategy too, because if you break it up at the beginning, it's going to take everyone so long to eat it anyway. It's going to be less overwhelming than just being
I
like,
don't want to bite.
I would have probably sliced it up, and I would have cut the garlic, especially because garlic, a full clove, fucks up your stomach. And I would have cut it up and had a big bite of like lemon juice, onion, and garlic every bite. And like, it would have been horrible, but
it would be at least kind of like a salad, kind of. Like a not at all. Sorry, I'm not saying it's like a Greek salad, but kind of like a Greek salad, right? Like where it just would be like a little bit of tang, have that, onion and like a little bit of garlic flavor. So I would have done the same strategy, I think, as Angela. How would you have done it, Matthew?
I don't know. To me, like, it didn't seem like it would be that hard to do. So I was just thinking, like,
us all do it one of these days.
I was just like, it's an onion. Like, how long is it really going to take me to eat an onion?
It was big. Onion.
I know it was big, but I don't know. Honestly, like when I was watching, I was thinking, I'd just do what Dom did. I would just eat it like an apple. Maybe that's not the best call, but that my inclination would just be like eat it as quickly as possible. Like don't cut it up.
No, I would have cut it up. Just smaller bites would have been easier to just get down, I think, than like, I don't know. I mean, you do you. You eat it how you want to eat it.
I feel like I could eat an onion real quick. I don't want to try it.
I challenge you to an onion off. Definitely disgusting, but they Tyson does have a good line here. I don't know if you guys caught it, but he's like, "Oh yeah, I was going to do this cleanse when I got home anyways." I was like, "Yeah, of course you were, Tyson."
And he also had another line after where he said, Dom always smells like onions anyways.
Yeah, exactly. So Danny and Angela do finish this one first, so her strategies seem to be effective. Dom and Justine are second. Cayla would have rathered the maggot cheese that she ate on her season of The Amazing Race, which was revolting. It was just basically this cheese wheel that was just covered in maggots. And they said that when they like had to eat it, like it was like really dry. And I'm like, why is it so dry? Like it's like, and you'd think it'd be like kind of juicy, but like she was like, it's so dry. I'm like, oh. I think I would do the onion a lot easier than I'd do the maggot cheese.
Yeah, same.
Did you watch that one, Matthew?
No, but I think I would rather the onion as well.
Definitely rather the onion.
But
Sarah and Tyson are third place. And next they need to go and solve an equation. Cayla is still at this like eating the onion challenge, and I wasn't sure if she was going to get through it. But the equation that was solved, I believe first place is still Danny and Angela. Second place is Sarah. Sarah and Tyson. Yeah. And then third place is Dom and Justine. And Cayla does end up finishing eating the food, and they're kind of all waiting for her at the equation checkpoint. And I like that they were supporting her and be like, good job, you finished it. So it's like, at this point, I was still like, yes, everybody's going to finish this challenge. Leave no man behind. Like, we got rid of Dom. That sucks for Desi. But like, okay, we still got a race going on here.
That's,
That's kind of how I was feeling. So Cayla and Dom are together. Angela and Tyson are now together. Sarah and Danny, and Justine is alone for this one. And I wrote down, this is really hard for one person.
Yeah.
Like 10 numbers to remember, and then have to go through and like do math. Wait, no, that's the other one. Is it math equations with that one? It was, wasn't it?
No.
You add them all up.
Oh, add them up, but then use our like the cipher, correct?
Yeah, that's what it was for that one.
But that's still pretty hard.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I don't know. I mean, I'd have to have figured out a way to memorize those numbers, but 10 multi-digit numbers to memorize in this type of pressure cooker situation by yourself. Oof, that would
And
be
how
terribly
long
hard.
was the walk or run from the points?
I didn't write it down, so they might not have said.
Yeah, it seemed like it was at least decently long because it took Justine a while to catch up. So I imagine it was a somewhat significant run.
Sorry, Taboo, don't kill me here. And so
True.
makes Nelson look like Michael Phelps.
Yeah.
Oh my God.
That is actually true because Nelson would have been like, no, but he would have floundered his way to the end.
Like you'd just be like doing too much, but like and not moving that much, but like you'd eventually have gotten there. Scuba Nelly would have been faster, where he would have completed it at least. I don't think we've ever seen Nelson DQ on a swimming challenge, have we?
We did. Remember that time he got pulled out because of the ice cold water? Actually, I'm remembering this now.
But that wasn't a swimming thing though.
It was
If
a daily thing though. They had
he went to the hospital though, right? Like
yes,
it's a little different. Like that one, they had to go and like be in cold water. I was going to say that he would have maybe got hyperventilation, like he might have.
Yeah, I still think he would have tried his best, and he wouldn't have given up the way Enzo did, for sure. He definitely has a lot more fight than that, but I don't think he's good with cold water. But
so I didn't really see how the decoder worked. I didn't really fully understand, and I couldn't rewind it. So they had to use the numbers and decode the wheel to get some letters to unscramble a word. So Tyson and Angela were first. Second place is Sarah and Danny. Third was Cayla and Dom. And Justine kind of DQ. It doesn't say disqualified when on her thing, her little moniker. And I was like, interesting. So it does say disqualified here, but she's still able to complete it. I was like, okay, I mean, fine, but why couldn't she still do the decoding part? I didn't understand why they didn't let her do that.
Yeah.
So next team matchups are Danny and Justine, Tyson and Cayla, Dom and Sarah, and then Angela is alone, where they have to move dirt overnight while one person sleeps. The other person has to continue to move dirt. So Angela decided that she didn't want to waste her energy or hurt her back potentially doing this wheelbarrow when she knows that she's going to come in last place. So she opted to go to sleep instead of finishing it. And in the morning, she finds out that that was not the right strategy. And I like the way that she described what she was doing. She said that she knew that she was going to get last place from moving the dirt. So she thought that it was her strategy to decide not to complete it so that she didn't overexert herself and that she would have the ability to run up the mountain.
yeah.
And there's a commercial break because like we all knew that she was going to be DQ'd.
Yeah.
But commercial break for some suspense. And he just like, sorry, Angela, that's it for you. You are done. And she's like, okay, and just leaves. She just leaves. So out of that challenge, Dom and Sarah are in first place. We do know that Dom works in construction, so he was pretty confident with this challenge. Tyson and Cayla take second place, and Danny and Justine take third place. So annoyed. So what did I say? I bummed.
Yeah, I mean, it's really unfortunate how Angela's season ended there, especially after that. I mean, obviously she struggled in the daily in the first half, but like
Not
with
a
the
real
emotional
struggle, but
yeah, with the emotional content plus like the way she dominated the whole season, just to like see it end that way where like production didn't step in. She tried to be strategic with how she was doing it. Like obviously made the wrong decision, but the fact that that's how her game is going to end, it's super unfortunate.
Her for so long.
Yeah, I honestly like. I know you said you think Angela will come back. I have a hard time seeing her coming back personally. I think she's the kind of person that will hold a grudge against the producers, against the show. And I could see her just saying like fuck this, I'm done.
But I can also see her just kind of like, I'm giving this to Tyson, like wanting to come back for redemption. Now that they know how things could go, they're better prepared. They can see that production's a little bit tricky sometimes. She did dominate the season. She didn't lose this challenge because she sucked or that she intentionally quit. Like I think that she'd be like, I need to come back to redeem this for myself because I don't think that I can let it go unless I go and complete this like it should be completed. So
I hope so. And I mean, if she decides to go over to MTV, she has a built-in alliance right there, and she will be riding like to the end every season she's in. I mean, she's got like she's
Casey.
friends with Casey. She'll be with Josh and Fessy, and whoever they're with. So if Angela wants to make a career out of this, she's going to do very well for herself on the MTV version.
I totally agree, and I hope she does come back. So now for the last leg of this final, it still is anyone's game. The first person that arrives will get 10 points, then 8, then 6 points to cross. So it definitely could make things really interesting depending on what order people cross. So Tyson's loving this part. They're basically running up a mountain and it's snowy, and he says this is like what he used to do for fun. He definitely he loves this. This is amazing. He has a lead on everyone. Then it starts to snow and he says it's getting cold, and he gets to a checkpoint where there's a Sudoku, and it's a normal size Sudoku.
I just thought the pieces were too small. They should have been bigger.
Yeah, maybe if they're like I don't know, 4 inches by 4 inches or something each piece, or blocks maybe. I don't know. It might have been easier to hold than these like little, I don't know if they're magnets or not, but like, yeah, that could have been maybe helpful because like if your fingers are cold and having to put something up that's really slight could be a little more challenging. Instead of like if it's a big block, you just kind of like can go like this and like have your hands in your sleeve. I don't know. I don't know how long they were up there. I would have liked to have known that time so I could be like you and the temperature I would have liked to know because
me too.
Like
Me too.
we live in Canada, so like I've been outside for a long period of time in like minus 40. So like I know what cold can feel like, but like I wanted to know how cold it was compared to like my worst cold experience, you know? Like waiting for the bus when I was younger, I remember, and like it was a snowstorm, and like I'm out there in the cold, and like each bus that comes by is packed, and you're standing outside and you're just shivering and freezing. Like, yeah, it's coming. It's coming. Winter's coming.
What I'm really curious to find out tomorrow is how long were they at the Sudoku station before they all quit? Because for all we know, like, I mean, it could have been freezing cold in the morning and then they all left, and we see Sarah like hiding like under like a cave or under something, like keeping warm. So for all we know, it could have been 4 or 5 hours that she like waited till it warmed up and then went to do the Sudoku. And at that point, everyone was already gone. And if that's the case, I mean, it's kind of ridiculous that they like let her take that long. So I'm curious to find out.
Exactly. I mean, she still seemingly would have won because she completed all the stations, but like, I think that there should have been a timeout element. Make it an hour, make it 2 hours, make it 4 hours, whatever. But like, I don't think that DQ should have taken them out of the running to cross the finishing line, just because we've seen in at least 25 the challenge finals, like that there's been a timeout situation. So there was 2 puzzles though. So they had to do one puzzle before the Sudoku, which was kind of like, I don't know what to call it. It's kind of like it's not really a tangram. It's like I don't know. They have to put different sized pieces together to fit into one puzzle. So it's kind of like a tangram, but it was like a little bit different. Also not challenging, but it did seem to make people, it was difficult for some people, but Tyson seemed to get it really quickly, as we learned. Danny gets it next, and he gets to the Sudoku station while Tyson is still there. And Danny, we learned that before he went to Survivor, he was practicing Sudokus on hard. So he's pretty familiar with Sudokus. And so I'm just thinking about my mom. My mom does Sudokus every single day. Like, and so I was thinking, like, my mom would have beasted out on this challenge. Like, she loves her Sudokus. And so the fact that Tyson isn't good at Sudokus, I was just shocked because it's basically a process of elimination, you know. It does suck that when you get to the end,
you can always eventually figure one out, but the problem is with having to move the pieces, you need to be able to like have like you know what I mean, like be able to switch them really quickly and easily, I guess. But you just have to be like slow and methodical about it. Like I had never ever done a Sudoku in my life, and it was like took me a while. But like I just had to do process of elimination for each thing and like try everything out until it worked.
Yeah, and then you could be like, this could be this number, this number, this number, this number, and so like
exactly.
You kind of just go through it systematically. I used to do this other one called, I think it's Kakuru, where it's like a Sudoku, but you'd have to make like number values at the end, which I used to find really fun. And so like you'd have like these number combinations that like these two numbers always equal this. And so like you can do like process of elimination. So like I like numbers and I like Sudokus and things that are derivative Sudokus. So I was shocked that people had so much trouble with this. I know it's cold, and I don't know what the temperature is, but I was very, very surprised and shocked that Justine gets there. She's never seen a Sudoku in her life. I was like, what? I'm like, Justine, you're going to get first place. I'm like, get it, girl. Yeah. Do it. Get it. Yeah. I was so like, oh my God, Justine's going to win this game. She's doing it for her family. I was getting hyped for Justine.
I know.
And then I do think that Tyson probably convinced them all to quit so that it wouldn't be just him. And she lost her shot. And Cayla also lost her shot. She couldn't do the Sudoku either. And so Sarah's still at the previous puzzle. They all quit. Danny finishes the Sudoku. He climbs the rest of the mountain. He's on the top by himself. For how long? Who knows? And finally, Sarah gets her second wind. She finishes that first puzzle. She gets the Sudoku. She finishes the Sudoku. And she gets to the top. Nobody's there. She goes and sees Danny. And she's like, I guess I got last. And she's like, no, nobody else finished. And TJ's like, you two are the only two that finished, Sarah. You just won your share of the rest of the $500,000. So our winners of the Challenge USA Season 1 is Danny McRae and Sarah Lacina, 2 survivors. Wow. We did it. We got through this.
2 survivors basically dominated the whole show. Not super surprised by that. Thought they were well equipped from the start, but definitely surprised that Sarah was the one to represent. Would have loved to see Desi and Angela have the shot at winning that final. I have to imagine if they did have a shot at that last heat, that we may be looking at a different winner, and like we likely would be. Really happy for Danny. It's great season for him. Socially, saw a strategic side of him at points. And I mean, he's built for this. He's an athlete. If he wants to go on MTV and do those more physical stuff, I think he'll thrive there. I think he's a likable guy. He'll thrive on CBS version as well. But yeah, I mean, congrats to Danny and Sarah.
Congrats, absolutely. So Rachel says not everyone knows how to do a Sudoku. It's just shocking to me because I just don't. Sometimes I don't realize that it's not a regular habit for people.
The fact that there was no description of what they had to do is a little
weird. Yeah, I think they should have had instructions like make sure that no numbers repeat in each square or across or the diagonal. Like that's maybe not diagonal, but whichever. That's the rules of a Sudoku. So it is weird that they didn't share that for sure. If a player doesn't know the rules, especially standing still in the snow, maybe they assume that everybody knows how to do a Sudoku. I mean, the reason why I know is that I used to do a Sudoku and a crossword puzzle every single day. Like at lunchtime in high school, I used to take the Toronto Star and I used to cut out the Sudoku, the word scramble, and the crossword puzzle, and I did it every single day of high school. So for fun, guys, these are things that I did for fun. And I always got a Sudoku or crossword puzzle book for Christmas. So it's something that I've always grown up with, and I just assume sometimes that everybody kind of has
No,
those
definitely
same
not. Never for them.
experiences. But I always liked school stuff. So Prince says they also talked about Dom's math skills throughout the show. So the fact that he was defeated by Sudoku was really surprising. Definitely surprising.
But I saw it with Dom. He like his brain was done. Like his brain was just not functioning at all anymore at that point. Whereas with Tyson, I feel like Tyson was like, fuck this. Like, I can't do this, even though I could easily run up the hill. And once Danny left, he's like, well, I can't win.
But he was
17
ready
grand
for,
isn't enough for me. And like,
Mhm.
fuck this. This is bullshit. They shouldn't be, and kind of decided to just like take a stand at that point, but didn't want to be the only one to tap out. I don't know.
So Dabu says she was more impressed with a pregnant Melissa on Total Madness than some of these people. This is true.
That was pretty impressive.
Yeah.
Well, that is pretty much it for our season. I was trying to do our points throughout the episode, but I was like, Michelle and I were both having like viewing difficulties, and I was just trying to like find where I could watch it fully and just bouncing back and forth. So I didn't load up the points, but I will load it up for tomorrow, and maybe we'll do a quick reveal, and we'll come together and just talk about that, or we'll do the reveal for the winners before we do a draft for 38. What are we thinking? What are your thoughts, guys?
Yeah, and I'm thinking we should be getting some news on 38 soon. Probably be a quick-ish turnaround, I would imagine. I'm thinking we'll be getting 38 sometime in October.
Definitely. Well, I'm wondering if what will happen is we'll see that 3-parter, the challenge, legacy, whatever that is, that documentary kind of thing. Maybe that will happen first, and then after that's finished, it'll be leading into the challenge 38.
I think that special is next week.
Next week for 3 weeks. Yeah.
Okay. Cool. Yeah. So
I think it'll start after that. Is my thought.
Yeah, I'm excited for 38. I think kind of last thoughts on this USA season. I think it started off really hot. For me, it kind of cooled down midway through. I think overall, like, it was fun. Could use a bit of improvement, especially the final. But I mean, it's nice to have more challenge. So I would definitely enjoy a second season if it comes. I'm a little less confident, but I'll keep my fingers crossed and say we will hopefully get another season, and they'll learn from the mistakes and make it a little bit better with hopefully some good casting choices as well.
When they all quit, they should have said, they should have talked, because they obviously were trying to talk to production. I'm sure that Tyson was saying, hey, like, if none of us are doing it, like, will you do anything? And they were probably like, if they had just said, like, yeah, like,
everybody gets a timeout.
Everyone gets, like, yeah, even if it's 20 minutes, whatever you want to make it. Now,
or like call Sarah from the other checkpoint, being like, okay, we're starting the rest of this race. You're all chasing Danny now. Let's go. Right.
Yeah.
Maybe that would have been fine. I don't know why they didn't fix this. Like, it's definitely a big fail in your show and production to have so many people quit. And
that's a reflection on you. That's the thing. Yeah. If it's this many people, like just the Angela thing, I would have been like, fuck, that's so stupid.
Even just the Enzo thing as well. Enzo and Angela.
But this, that's
not good.
That's every person except for 2 people. And even that second person was like kind of on the verge of quitting. Like, I'm a little sus about how, as I agree, when that went down.
Maybe they're like, Sarah, if you win, run, you'll win. You know what I mean? Like, I'm sure that she had a little birdie that gave her that second wind. Just do it. Just do it. You'll be happy.
I don't know.
Prince, I do not think that there will be a reunion show, but I'm going to be following around all the exit press for this season. So maybe we'll do a quick little recap of like what happened with the press and kind of like do a little debrief, and then we'll reveal who won the draft. So maybe stay tuned for that coming in the next week as we hear all the tea about what happened on this final. Wow.
Yeah.
Well, that is pretty much it. Honestly, it was still a really fun time. Thank you, Matthew, for making your appearance here on Reality Realness. You have been quite a treat. I definitely enjoyed hearing your perspectives and having your insight and input here. So anytime you want to talk about another show, you are in and more than welcome to.
Hey,
so,
I'm appreciate you having me, and I loved popping into your Love Island and Bachelorette shows. So yeah, anytime you want me to chat about any of these shows, I'm always happy to.
Yes. I love finding people like me. So yes. Yeah. I mean, it's so fun. Like I never had anybody to talk about these shows with until I started, doing pods and doing like backyard Big Brother stuff. So I don't know, you guys are my people. So I'm really happy to find more people that love talking about these shows. So thank you, Matthew. Thank you, Michelle, as always. Thank you, everybody in the chat. You guys are always really on fire with all the comments and your thoughts and beliefs and your knowledge of the challenge and everything that's going on. So you guys are definitely a big part of what we do here. So much respect and much appreciation for you. If you haven't done so already, what are you doing? Please subscribe to the channel and like this video. I know it was a terrible, terrible, terrible final, but hopefully us discussing it, you felt a little bit cathartic about it. You got to be like frustrated with us. We said some of the things that bothered you that just made it, make you feel a little bit better. And leave a comment as to whether or not you think that there will be a season 2, whether you think that Tyson or Angela will do exit press, whether you think that they'll come back for a season 2. We want to hear all your gripes and all your reasonings and rationales.
The next episode of Bananas' podcast,
be Tyson.
he is going to have words. I'm just, it's like I'm half dreading it, but I'm half looking forward to it.
Right?
Yeah, we're definitely going to need to reconvene within the next week or so and talk about everything that's happened. We'll do our own reunion.
Tyson's podcast tomorrow, all the exit interviews, Twitters, probably already popping off as we speak.
Can't wait.
I mean, James tweeted, this final is indicative of how the entire experience was for so many of us. I'll leave it at that. So yeah, I've been hearing like mumblings about that production was very messy all season long. I mean, the algorithm itself, it's like very suspect. So, yeah, I'm not surprised. But I think as the days go on, we'll just hear more and more now that people like Tyson won't be shying away from their thoughts and opinions.
They can say what they want to say now. They'll ask him for him back no matter what he says, I think. So hopefully he'll be spreading all the tea. Thank you, Prince. So Prince says, love following you all this season, my first season, watching y'all. Well, thank you for being here. Much appreciate having you as well. And yes, we will do a full tea episode. We're going to find out as much tea as possible. So lastly, before we sign off for this season, is there a question that you would like to see if I can get Sarah to ask any of the finalists, hopefully if they're going to be interviewing tomorrow?
I would like to know, I don't know who from. I would like to know, A, how long they were at the Sudokus. I would like to know how long Sarah was at the other puzzle. Yeah, I guess it's all they can really answer.
And maybe also, was it clearly stated on the rules when Angela quit?
Did anyone say to Angela, hey, they're probably going to do this if you or did anyone think that there's no chance? Like, was everyone shocked by that? Or did some people just not say anything to her, but they were like, she's probably going to get DQ'd? Or like, what was the tea with that? And what the temperature was, I'd like to know.
So yeah, but basically all the conditions.
Yeah.
Cool. Well, until I guess we talk again soon with a little bit more insight and tea. We'll see you guys soon. Thanks, everybody. Woo!